Welcome if this is your first time on the channel. Today we are listening to ESPN try to put the blame all on Luka for the Lakers losing. We gonna listen to JJ Redick try to put the blame all on Luka for the Lakers losing, and we have seen this before. Instead of them putting the accountability on LeBron, they always make another player or a coach or somebody else the fall guy. So we're going to listen to this. Make sure you subscribe if this is your first time here. Click that like button so they can push the video. Let's go.
I'll start with the offseason and
this JJ Redick.
The work that's required in an offseason to be in championship shape. And, you know, we have a ways to go as a roster. And certainly there are individuals that were in phenomenal shape. There's certainly other ones that could have been in better shape. That's where my mind goes immediately is you know, we have to get in championship shape.
First off, before we get to ESPN, JJ Redick said it was individuals in phenomenal shape. He's talking about LeBron. He's a LeBron guy. And then he disses Luka and says Luka got to get in better shape. This is something we knew before Luka went to LA. But to come out and publicly say that, knowing you are a LeBron guy, if I was Luka, I would go to the front office and say, hey, y'all want me to sign this extension? I need a championship coach. That's what I would say. Give me a championship coach instead of JJ Redick, a rookie who got signed just because he knows LeBron. This ain't LeBron team no more. It's my team. Y'all about to give me the extension. I'm going to be the leader of this team. I need a championship coach. But let's listen to them on ESPN First Take and how they spin it to make it seem like, yo, it's Luka's fault. They double talk. This is what they do for LeBron. They double talk. They say, yo, he's a top 10 player. And then they go, yo, but he's old. So, you know, we can't put no blame on him. So which one is it? Let's listen to him.
Peter Rosenberg joining the conversation. Okay, so JJ said phenomenal shape. Some people that need to be in better shape, but everyone was not in championship shape. Wendy, was JJ out of bounds in saying this?
Yep.
I don't think he's out of bounds. I think it's inherent. I do think it's interesting that he was, you know, playing Luka an entire second half, and then 3 days later saying he's, you know, implying he's got to get in better shape.
Facts.
Those two things don't necessarily go together. I will say this about JJ. When JJ played, he kept himself in great shape. He knows what it is to be, you know, get into championship shape in the offseason.
Anytime somebody brings up conditioning and they're talking about a team that Luka is on, they're talking about Luka. Expectations in Los Angeles when it comes to the Lakers are championships. Every major star that has ever worn the purple and gold has captured a championship.
Okay.
Is Luka going to be the one that doesn't? And I don't recall any one of those champions, any one of those superstars that we talked about, ever being accused of being out of shape. Outside of when people said stuff about Shaq, and Shaq was just so damn dominant, he didn't mind eating 3 Big Macs a day. I mean, that's just the way it was. He's still dominant.
First off, if they putting everything on Luka, right, and they about to give him an extension, he got time. He don't got to win right away. The reason they want him to win right away ain't even for Luka. It's for LeBron. I'm telling you, these dudes are bought off. Let's keep going.
Well, here's the thing. The initial question was it in bounds or out of bounds for JJ to say it? No, it's not out of bounds. He's the head coach of the team. What it was, though, was nasty work. It wasn't what needed to be said in this moment as JJ Redick, is suffering a defeat in which, if we're being honest, a lot of eyeballs are on him for decisions that he made.
Okay,
so,
Rosenberg.
To say this thing when you know the entire world, because that is the standard that's been set recently from leaving Dallas, is that Luka is the one who's out of shape. Whether the average fan can see it or is aware of it or not, that is the conversation that exists. So when he gets up there and says people need to be more in shape, he is deciding in that spot to call out the best player on his team. The player who's going to be the guy for him in the coming years. So we can decide whether or not it's totally in bounds. He is the coach. He's the right to do it the way he wants. I don't think it was a good decision.
Thanks.
The reason the Lakers lost this series because Luka Doncic wasn't in good enough shape.
It's one of them.
I would say the bigger reason is that why are we in a situation where he has to play 24 straight minutes in half of the game? I mean, what more? My question is this, Jay. I'm not saying he can't be in better shape. How much better are we expecting Luka Doncic to be? He has been all world, as Brian just talked about. He has been all world for a very long time, being slightly out of shape.
Peter, you can't have 9 blow-bys in a game. I mean,
he plays bad defense. So does Austin Reeves. So does LeBron James. All right. They don't put the blame on them though. They all played horrible defense. Luka needs a team with better defenders on the team. Big man. He need big man that are defenders. But y'all said LeBron could play 1 through 5. That's what y'all told me. And then I watched Rudy Gobert look like Wilt Chamberlain. I already knew that wasn't true because I remember Dwight Howard back in the day. I remember Tim Duncan back in the day. I remember LeBron trying to guard KG back in the day. He can't play 1 through 5. Nobody in history can. That is a lie. That's a goofy myth that they run with. But they won't bring that up now because they always double talk. Let's keep going.
You are no factor defensively whatsoever. That is debilitating to a team.
Absolutely. And listen, if he loses 20 pounds for next year, and that's what he should do, is come in better shape, that is absolutely a great thing to do. I don't know if this is the best approach for JJ to getting there. I really don't think it is.
So, Pete, I would push back on that and say, I don't think anyone knows what the right approach is for Luka Doncic.
Because nothing's worked.
I think we've seen a ton of approaches. We came on the show yesterday, and Stephen A. and I were talking about Nico Harrison, a person that we've both known for a long time, who was Kobe Bryant's best friend and Nike rep.
Okay.
I'm sure there were a lot of conversations between Nico Harrison and Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic about what he needed to do for his conditioning. Now, it never got called out publicly. So I hear you in the comments with the reporter the other day. JJ Redick could have handled that differently. And doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, we can agree to disagree.
They all know JJ too.
Accountability isn't out of bounds to me. It's the price of the throne. And I think when you talk about Luka Doncic, yes, we could talk about roster reconstruction. You could talk about being more athletic on the perimeter, having size down low. But we all know we go as our best player goes, and that sets the tone. And when you see kind of the lack of defensive effort and commitment, or at least trying to be marginal on the defensive end, I think you got to call that out. And by the way, he didn't call it out saying Luka Doncic. He said we. Now, if your assumption is that is Luka Doncic, that is your assumption. He lets it be up to the public to decide.
Wendy, before you jump in, I mean, he got traded partially because of this. So if that's not sending a message, I feel like this is in bounds just to call him out publicly. But as a player, how infuriating is it to have a teammate that's not doing all they can do and controlling what they can control when a guy like LeBron, who's 40, is in tip-top shape?
Boom. That's what this all about. LeBron that's in 40, that's in tip-top shape. They want to put it on somebody else. We've seen this now with Chris Bosh. We've seen this with Russell Westbrook, Kyrie Irving. They got mad at Kyrie because he was trying to leave LeBron. Hey, man, I just want to go. We won the championship, but I want to go. They got mad at Kyrie. Kevin Love had mental problems because they tried to put it all on Kevin Love. And now we are seeing it with Luka Doncic. We seen it with AD just before he got there too. Anthony Davis was the only person on the team that played defense, and they all blamed him. Traded him away, brought in Luka, who is now the best player on the team. It ain't even close. Luka Doncic is the best player on the team, and it's not close. He's the guy that made that team really start picking up and start playing better. It was Luka. Now, they put all the blame on Luka. How about the fact that LeBron was a no-show the first 2 games of that series? How about the fact that LeBron disappeared in the fourth quarter the last 2 games of that series? He had 1 good game. The rest of them, disappearing acts in the fourth quarter. I think game 4, he had 0 points in the fourth quarter. Game 5, he hit a 3, and then he hit a 2 in garbage time. He had 5 points. Disappeared. The first 2 games, he was nowhere to be found. Literally. LeBron was nowhere to be found the first 2 games. So they won't bring these things up. They always try to put the blame on Luka. The media, mainstream media, once again, with a narrative to put all the blame on somebody else to take it off of LeBron. And I'm sick of it. They do this religiously. I went down all the players. If you've been around, you know, dang, you know what? It was Russell Westbrook's fault. Dang, you know what? It was Kevin Love's fault. You know, they just, every time, it's somebody else's fault. Meanwhile, LeBron is the one who brought in JJ Redick, who played players the whole second half. Rookie mistake. But LeBron brought him in. See, what's going on? One, they all know JJ Redick. He used to work for the network. But then it's like they don't want to blame JJ Redick too much because LeBron brought JJ Redick in. And you know they're not going to put no blame on LeBron. They double talk for LeBron. So what they'll do is they'll say, yo, LeBron is the only guy in history that can play 1 through 5. He couldn't do it when he was younger. I seen that. And he definitely can't do it now. You're seeing Wilt or Rudy Gobert looking like Wilt Chamberlain. All right? But they'll say that. And then they'll come back and say, LeBron need a big man. He need help. He need bigger players. Right? So they double talk. They'll double talk again and go, LeBron is a top 10 player in the league right now. You listen to all these guys, not just on here, Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, Nick Wright, they do the same thing. They'll go, LeBron is a top 10 player in the league right now. And then when he lose, they'll go, he's 40. He can't do nothing. He's older. So they double talk. And then they put the blame on Luka. But in reality, they were telling me that the Lakers had 2 top 10 players in the league in this playoff series or in these playoffs. What other team got 2 top 10 players in the league? Maybe Boston. You could go Cleveland. Maybe. You know, what? Don't know other team. It's just them. And they choked. That's all it boils down to. Luka had 4 good games. 1 game, he was like sick or something. Bad game, but he's bad on defense. You got LeBron. He choked the first 2 games. Disappearing act. Last 2 games, he choked in the 4th quarter. Bad on defense. You got Austin Reeves. He choked like 4 of the games too. Bad on defense. So they got beat. But guess what? Only 1 team win the championship. LeBron, just because he don't win a championship every year, don't mean, hey, we got to just start putting blame. They a team. Giannis didn't win either. So we going to go, hey, Dame Lillard shouldn't have tore his Achilles. He shouldn't try to come back and play after getting a blood clot. No, he was trying to win a championship. It didn't happen. But when it don't happen for LeBron, they done talking about Giannis and Dame. They just talking about Giannis and where he going to go. They done talking about the season and how it was a failure. They done talking about all the other teams that lost and how it was a failure. But with LeBron, they got to place the blame somewhere. They lost as a team. It wasn't just one player. Luka was their best player in that series. So why put the blame on him? Why not JJ Redick? Why not LeBron? But we know why. Because the media always spin a narrative to protect LeBron James. But I've been watching my whole life, his entire career. He always get a team that's able to win a championship. Through trade, through free agency, through a bunch of manipulation. Anthony Davis quit on his team to come over there. And then when he don't win, they put the blame on the players that he playing with. It's wrong. But y'all let me know, what do y'all think about ESPN trying to spin this narrative to put all the blame on Luka? Put it down in the comments. As always, if this is your first time here, make sure you sub to the channel. Check out the other content. Click that like button. Y'all be easy. Be safe. Peace.